Shabbat Shalom. All right. The title of today's lesson is Deliverance. Deliverance. When we think of certain feasts, particularly the one we're getting ready to actually observe, which is what? Passover, right? If we were to kind of try to figure out what the main essence of this whole feast would be, I think it would be befitting for us to acknowledge that this Passover is about deliverance, the deliverance of a people. Would you agree? So many times in our life where we just feel like we can't escape. We feel like we're trapped. And we just want to be delivered. How many of y'all feel like you just want to be delivered? Here we are, COVID-19, in a lightweight police state, right? Everybody's got an opinion. The media continuously telling us, feeding us everything that they would have us to hear and be excited about, to be frantic and panic, right? Hearing that the death rate in the United States is already like beyond 30,000 and it's supposed to get over 100,000, right? It's going crazy in New York, right? You're hearing everyday updates more and more, how many more people have contracted the virus, right? And for all of that, all we want to do is get away. Deliverance. It's befitting for this type of thing to take place at such a time. Here we are getting ready to commemorate a feast that we know as Passover. When the death angel passed over our forefathers, right? But destroyed our enemies. A total of 10 plagues. 10 plagues were put in play to deliver a people. Sometimes you forget, you just want to be delivered from your personal dilemmas. You want to be delivered from your personal drama. You want to be delivered from your personal pain, but you forget that there's a need for your people to be liberated. We forget that. Here we are in what the Bible calls spiritual Egypt. Right? Here we are on the verge of being delivered. Go to Luke chapter 4. And let's get 18 and 19.
Luke chapter 4, verse 18. The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because he hath anointed me to preach the gospel to the poor.
See, a lot of times, man, we take this for granted. Said, the Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because he hath anointed me to preach the gospel to the poor. We might read that and we just think about the poor that we acknowledge as the poor. But when you read the Bible, you know who the Bible calls the poor. Who are the poor according to the Bible? You. Go ahead.
He has sent me to heal the brokenhearted.
The brokenhearted. Go ahead.
To preach deliverance
and to what?
To preach deliverance to the
to
captives.
Who?
To the captives.
To the captives. Raise your hand if you're no longer a captive. We would like to think of ourselves as free. We would like to think of ourselves as liberated, emancipated as at best, but we still captives. Captives more in mind and spirit than anything else. We sit up here and find ways to escape, whether it be your phone, whether it be a Oreo milkshake, whether it be music, vibing out to your favorite songs, whether it be intimacy. There's a lot of things that we utilize to try to escape and forget about this world. But the reality is, we still captives. Our deliverance is coming, but it has not come yet. Go ahead. Finish that off, all right?
And recovering of sight to the blind. To set at liberty them that are bruised.
Go ahead.
To preach the accepted year of the Lord.
The acceptable year of the Lord. The acceptable year of Yahweh. Y'all think we in that year? I bet you before this whole COVID situation, you probably was like, Soon as they turned it up and showed you how quick, because you had the question, you was like, maybe like another 30 years. I don't want to put my foot in my mouth. A lot of things got to happen before, I don't know, it's going to be like 30 years. At least 20. How many of y'all said something to that effect? All of that changed when COVID-19 hit the fan. He showed you instantly, I can change things overnight. Every day it's a new order. For a minute, we was getting that like, okay, all right, 250. All right, we take that back, 100. Couple hours later, all right, 10 people. Then from there, it was like, okay, nobody. We sitting up here right now, I don't even know who that is, ain't no telling. Right? Man, it feel like the old days. It feel like the days of our forefathers and foremothers in secret places, in catacombs. Go from there. Give me 2nd Ezra, chapter 13 and verse 29. Boy, these scriptures get you more motivated when you realize that you're still in them. In that moment where you thought you wasn't in them no more, you thought you was safe, it got boring for a minute. You started falling asleep. That's like when the disciples was with Yahweh Shai. It wasn't real to him. It wasn't real to him for a minute. Like they got the nodding off. He was like, dang, you can't be with me for an hour? Right? But I guarantee when the men showed up, everything changed. Sleep went away. Right? You ever feeling nice off the lick? You kind of, soon as some trouble come your way, you sober up quick. Everybody sobered up quick with this. Go ahead. 2nd Ezra chapter 13 and verse 29.
2nd Ezra 13, verse 29.
Yep.
Behold, the days come when the Most High will begin to deliver them that are upon the earth.
When he will begin to deliver them that are upon the earth. Are those days coming or are those days happening? You look at our brother Franklin, I think those days are happening. We always looking for everything to happen like right here in one place at one specific time. We read in 2nd Ezra chapter 15 and 2nd Ezra chapter 16, and it hit me one day. It hit me like a ton of bricks. Said, cats is already running up in houses. This stuff is already happening. I'm sitting up here waiting like for it to all happen in one particular like street. Like everything gonna happen on this one particular. And then it's crazy because we get so used to dysfunction. We get so used to toxicity. You know what I'm saying? We've been living in a neighborhood all our life. We used to people getting shot every now and again. We used to getting pressed. We used to drug addiction. We used to filth. You get used to it. So when it's happening around you, you like, oh, this is a normal day. And you don't realize you in the midst of these times. You a whole lot closer than what you think. Go from there. Give me Jeremiah chapter 23. Jeremiah chapter 23, and let me get 3 through 8.
Jeremiah 23, verse 3. And I will gather the remnant of my flock out of all countries.
Out of what?
Out of all countries.
Boy, all praises be to the Most High for that brother in the back. Tazarah. Most High used you to give me a reality check. Boy, we went to Africa, went to Ghana. I'm late night up last night. Guess who hit me up? Mana Shah. Get so caught up in my world right here. Get so caught up. Sometimes you feel like things are so bad right here. It was easy for me back in the days to be like, oh, they in Africa. It didn't feel real to me. They'll figure it out. When we went to Ghana and we set up in there with our congregation in Ghana, a whole congregation of people, and Jake's asked them, raise your hand if you got a job, and not one hand went up. Jake's began to tell, hey, we all hustling. There were more of us, but some of them went back into the world because they had to make a decision. Because they don't have the same constitutional rights as we got here, right? He said they ain't got the same constitutional rights as us. Right here, we could press the issue and be like, look, it's my constitutional right to observe my religious beliefs. I can't work on the Sabbath. Some people will try to give you a hard time, but for the most part, if you press the issue and you say the right words, you mention harassment, you mention HR, now you start to get compliance. It wasn't the same over there. It was like, oh, you willing to work on the Sabbath? Then you will not work. Figure it out. To see them going through the type of stuff that they going through, like the Jake brought out to us, I got the video out. To somebody that wasn't there, it's not astounding to them. You just see empty streets. When we was there, what did those streets look like, Ak? Crowded is an understatement. Ghost town. They trying to figure out how we gonna keep this Passover. Everything shut down. Where our faith at? What God are we dealing with? Are we dealing with the same God that delivered our forefathers out of Egypt and out of all of the many other captivities that we've been in? The same God that used Moses, Joshua, Gideon, Samson. Are we dealing with the same God, or has something changed? all of a sudden, we get a little leery. We get a little bit afraid. Well, they ain't going to allow us to do this. Well, how we going to do that? We got to be smart. Balance, man. The scriptures teaches balance. I'm not saying, because I see a lot of people out there, after COVID-19, you know, I'm not saying be radical and be nonsensical, but what I am saying is this. The requirements for faith haven't changed. Go ahead and read from the top.
And I will gather the remnant of my flock out of all countries whither I have driven them.
He said, out of all of the countries where I've driven them. This is real to me because I've been out the country. I see them Jakes. For real, serving the Most High in another continent. Our people are literally all over. They're on every continent doing the same thing that we're doing right here. And some of them taking even more of a risk. Some of them having to sacrifice much more than we're having to sacrifice at this moment right now. And they are waiting for deliverance. Go ahead, Ak.
And will bring them again to their foes, and they shall be fruitful and increase.
That's what they waiting on. We talking about the kingdom right there. They waiting on that. They believe that. Go ahead.
And I will set up a shepherd over them, which shall feed them, and they shall fear no more, nor be dismayed, neither shall they be lacking, saith the Lord.
When you look at the children of Israel, when you start seeing what it is, and you start seeing where we're at, in all of these different places, the ghettos look the same. It's crazy because you can go in a place like wherever in Europe, and you know that everybody there ain't us, but you know us when you find us. Then you go in certain places and you like, this is pretty much all us. Like that was the experience when we went to Africa. What was so crazy, I remember Jake back there, we showed some images and it was crazy because Jake was like, look, man, this feel like Peru. This feel like Mexico. You could feel that spirit. You could feel the struggle. And you could feel the curses. It's it's like the energy is in the air. And these people are waiting to be delivered. Go ahead.
Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will raise unto David a righteous branch, and a king shall reign and prosper, and shall execute judgment and justice in the earth.
They waiting on Yahweh Shai. Sometimes, man, we just forget that we got a king, God. You know what I'm saying? We'll do it for the hood, do it for the set, do it for the homies. Right? No sister up in here, but we'll even do it for the hoes. We'll do it for all of that. But you forget. People want to put on for their city. What we putting on for the city for? We ought to be putting on for the king. We got a king that we fighting for. And more importantly, a king that's fighting for us. A king who gave his life for us. We got to connect back. We have to connect back. It's crazy because, man, we feel like a portion of our truth has been so defiled by the Christian church that we don't no longer want to touch it. We feel like we can't pick it up, as if we don't have rights to it no more. We careful on how we talking about Yahweh Shai and how we embracing having a king, a savior. We're careful on how we praise. It's like they got a monopoly on that. That don't belong to unrighteousness. That belongs to us. That belongs to the saints. And in times like this, you need that. You're going to need that kind of spirit. That rah-rah, that thing that's going to stir up your spirit, you're going to need that. You ever be in a moment where you ain't stirred up and you like kind of like real apprehensive, but all it takes is for somebody to stir you up and you like, whatever. That's why you need that stir up. You need that. You need people around you that's going to be able to stir you up. And you do your part to reciprocate and stir the next man up. Because that's how we going to get up out of here. The scripture tells you, if you sitting up here just waiting, like it's scriptures that went out recently, it said, come not by observation, man. We going to have to fight. It says we going to be used as his battle axe. That's what I understand it to be. It's crazy because we got a whole lot, like the scripture saying, it ain't just the gangbangers, it's even the jakes. It's the new thing, the new hot thing is street teaching. And you got all of these young jakes on the corner because man, it's gangbanging. Man, that's street teaching more than this gangbanging now. Young jakes on every corner fired up with the fury of the Most High. Who guiding them? Oh, it's time to get it right. It's time to figure it out. Go ahead, Ak.
Verse 6, in his days Judah shall be saved, and Israel shall dwell safely. And this is the name whereby he shall be called, the Lord of our righteousness.
The Lord our righteousness. Why is it saying that? The Lord, Yahweh, our righteousness. Right? Because we've been self-righteous for too long. We always declaring in some way, shape, form, or fashion our own righteousness. Why we good, why we solid, why we real. And the only thing that makes you real and makes you authentic is Yahweh and his truth. That's it. That's it. It ain't a gang. And it ain't an army that's greater than ours. Straight up. It ain't a leader that's greater than our King of Kings. That's enough to make you feel some type of way and get ready to ride on somebody. When you know that you can't lose, that it's already foretold that we gonna win. That's how them songs make you feel like. Boy, you hear them songs talk about hustling and triumphing, and you know, some of them talking that drill music like my bro over here that educated me on, right? You start being like, you know, hey, that's what I need to get me going. Sometimes you just need a message like this to get you going, because you forget. You got scared for a minute. And I'm not talking down to nobody that's wearing gloves and masks if that's what you want to do, but I'm just saying. Yahweh is better than your gloves and your mask. Real talk. I'm not discouraging you from wearing. I'm not saying that, but what I am saying is this. Just like he tell us, man, a lot of times we forget. We be quick to go to the doctor calling Kaiser up and stuff and didn't go to the Most High. What's that song? Coronavirus. I'm saying Yahweh. He the realest thing out there. We're going to get into it. Go ahead.
Verse 7, therefore, behold, the days cometh, saith the Lord, that they shall no more say, the Lord liveth, which brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt.
He said it's going to come to a point where it's no longer going to be said or talked about the story of Egypt. Here we are, we talking about the story of Egypt. That's what the Passover is about. But he said the Passover goes beyond that. He says that was that generation. He said you about to have your own Passover story. Go ahead, verse 8.
But the Lord liveth, which brought up and which led the seed of the house of Israel.
What?
The seed.
The seed. He said, I'm not talking about the same children of Israel. Don't get it misconstrued. I'm talking about they seed way down the line. He's talking about us. Read on.
Seed of the house of Israel out of the north country.
That north country, everybody say, see, North America, that's cool. But when you go into the word north, when you go into using the Strong's Concordance, looking at the actual Hebrew word, what you'll find out is that word also talks about a hidden place, a place that's been reserved. This place called America, North and South, which is more so known as the North, because we don't even call North America, North America. We just call it what? America, right? It's the hub of both of the continents, so to speak, that are happen to be conjoined, right? Now, with all of that being said, this is a place that's been reserved for destruction. Literally. So he telling you exactly, he said the main place that you need to look to that hidden place, that place that God reserved, the North Country. Somebody knew what they was talking about because somebody put the North. They could have put hidden. They said, put that North up there, they'll get it. They'll understand what we talking about. Go ahead.
And from all countries.
And he said, and I ain't forget everybody else. He said, we everywhere else. He said, but I had to let you know where the hub is at. That's the devil's nest. He said, then I'm going to deliver y'all out of everywhere else that y'all in the world. Y'all in every country in the world. I'm sitting up here, man, for a minute. I'm like, man, how are we going to be able to tell who our people? He said, Israel is as the sand of the sea. We everywhere in abundance. Go ahead.
Whither I had driven them, and they shall dwell there, excuse me, and they shall dwell in their own land.
And we're going to dwell in our own land again. That's the kingdom. That's going to be the kingdom of heaven. Go from there. Give me Exodus chapter 12. Exodus 12, I want to start at 26 and 27, and we're going to jump up.
Exodus chapter 12, verse 26. And it shall come to pass, when your children shall say unto you, what mean ye by this service?
They want to know, what is the Passover really all about? Why we doing this? Why we got to go kill a lamb? Why we got to clean the house out? How come we can't handle ketchup? I like ketchup on my French fries. You know I love bread. How come we can't have no bread, Abba? Why? This is what you going to tell them, read.
That ye shall say, it is the sacrifice of the Lord's Passover.
That's what it is. It's a sacrifice. It's a sacrifice that has to be given, and now it has become a sacrifice for us even to do this. It's a sacrifice for y'all to be up in here right now. No disrespect to other congregations, but you have other congregations that have shut everything down. Like, no, we ain't coming together. We're going to abide by the laws. All in the name of what? The scriptures say, forsaking not the assembling of yourselves. We sheep. We at a disadvantage when we scattered. We in safety when we can come together. This is one of the reasons why we have such a hard time on things like social media, because we, more than any other nation of people, are social creatures.
Can I expound on that too?
Go ahead.
We went to go look at the sheep that we was gonna get, the lambs, right? Mm-hmm. He threw the guy who catches the lamb. He threw some feed in there, but all these sheep had they back to him, and they was getting the food, and he was scared to go because if one of them flinched, they gonna kick him real hard. So in their defense, they all ate together and they supped together when they was getting the food that he put out. So it was hard for him to catch them. And they would all run so fast. If they hit him, they'll hit him hard and run him over. Because it was sheep and goats running together. And you don't want to get hit by one when they running and they jumping real high. Man, it looked crazy. But together, they was fierce. Ask Yaquatazai, he went with me and saw it.
That's the same experience we had when we went. All of that for what? To say, look, you at a disadvantage. A lot of the time the enemy is telling you, oh, it's all good. and you don't know that he's weakening you by making you be extremely fearful to do what's necessary to prepare yourself. Mind you, I'm not saying that COVID-19 is not a real thing. I believe it's real. But I know the power of the Most High is more real. Straight up. We cannot, we have to be careful of just, that's not what I'm for as a leader. Do everything that your enemies tell you to do. We're going to do what we need to do within reason and within what's going to be beneficial to us in the body. And we not following no nonsense just like our forefathers. We ain't going to, oh, well, it's the law. They're going to put people in jail. Then so be it. Go ahead. Finish that off, Hawk.
Who passed over the house of the children of Israel in Egypt. When he smote the Egyptians and delivered our houses.
He smote the Egyptians, but he delivered our houses. It's crazy because so far, and I'm not saying it might not happen, and I'll explain. But boy, I don't see a whole lot of y'all with COVID-19. I know a heathen. He talked, oh yeah, my friend, he has the coronavirus. But so far here, any of y'all got it? So far, so good. And we probably all ain't deserving to keep it 100. Most I said, I'm going to have mercy. I'm going to prove a point with you.
All praises.
Because I know a lot of us, we sure ain't deserving. But now he got your attention. He said, all right, get your stuff right. How many years was you supposed to get them beans and rice and that extra water? Boy, he made you go ahead and get your stuff together. We serve a merciful God. Straight up. Because, I mean, we be looking at it, and I look at it, and I'm like, at the same time, we got an opportunity to get it right. We didn't have to have that opportunity. We be a fool now to not act with a sense of urgency. Was that all of that? Verse 27?
And the people bowed their head and worshiped.
The people bowed their head and worshiped. Jumped up to verse 12 through 14.
Exodus chapter 12, verse 12. For I will pass through the land of Egypt this night, and will smite all the firstborn in the land of Egypt.
All of the firstborn of the land of Egypt. Boy, he around smiting a whole bunch of senior citizens. Some other folks is getting hit here and there, right? It's crazy because it's so reminiscent of the story that we're reading. And for all of that, some of us are like, okay, I'm going to get it right, Yahweh. We got a few extra phone calls. But to be honest, as we go deeper and deeper into time and get closer and closer, you got less of our people that are reacting like they should be. They're, it's going to take something just extremely devastating for some of our people to finally submit. Because for all of this, a lot of our people still haven't submitted. They still haven't submitted. Here you have a legitimate pestilence that's sweeping through the earth. And for all of that, a lot of our people still want to live their life. Everybody ought to be trying to keep the Passover. Go ahead.
Both man and beast, and against all the gods of Egypt, I will execute judgment. I am the Lord.
So the Most High, he said, man, when I come at you, I come at you hard. He said, I'm gonna light you up, and I'm gonna light your beast up. I'm gonna light your pets up. Esau love his pets. A lot of them love their pets more than they love us. Love their own kids. But the Most High said, I'm gonna affect everybody. I'm gonna hit all of y'all. And I have the ability to do so. Go ahead.
I am the Lord. And the blood shall be to you for a token upon the house where ye are. And when I see the blood, I will pass over you, and the plague shall not be upon you, to destroy you, when I smite the land of Egypt.
So check it out. He said, look, man, I require blood sacrifice. Put that blood on that doorpost. Let me know what it is. I'll pass over you. But if you ain't got that blood, if you ain't sacrificed that lamb, it's going to be a problem. I'm coming to collect. Read on.
And this day shall be unto you for a memorial, and ye shall keep it a feast to the Lord throughout your generations. Ye shall keep it a feast by an ordinance forever.
And that's why we keeping it to this very day. We can't not keep it. We can't not keep it out of fear. We can't not keep it out of convenience. We got to keep this. Go from there. Give me Proverbs 21 and 18. Now watch this. It's crazy because I ain't going to get too deep off into this part, but I just want to make a mention. Like, there was a need for a sacrifice. And when you really go into the story, you know what I'm saying? They had a number of different things that were entangled within the observance of this particular feast. Right? But this lamb was given literally as a blood sacrifice. A lot of us, we watching different shows, and we see the parallels of a lot of the demonic witchcraft stuff that they got on television, but it's always about blood sacrifices. You're hearing about these celebrities, and it's always about these blood sacrifices because they know that those blood sacrifices hold some serious relevance, right? And they're utilizing it for wickedness, but literally, the Most High required blood sacrifices from us. He was like, you know what? When laws are broken, somebody's blood has to be shed. And he said, I'm going to be merciful. Instead of shedding your blood, I'm going to allow you to shed this lamb's blood, this bull's blood, right? He said, that's how merciful I am. But the rule stands. Somebody's blood is going to have to be shed. Now watch this. This ought to make you feel some type of way. Watch this. Read this real quick. 21 and 18.
Proverbs 21, verse 18. The wicked shall be a ransom for the righteous.
Hold on. How many transgressions have you transgressed? Huh? You think one lamb is going to be enough? When you look back in the law, and I'm talking about they had like hundreds, and many had thousands, right? And they had the ability to bring week after week, bring these lambs, these oxen, so on and so forth, turtle doves and all of that as sacrifices, right? For all of their transgressions. How many transgressions do you have? How much blood needs to be shed to make your situation right? See, people don't really look at the spiritual aspect of what we're dealing with here. Well, what about the other nations? It's a reason why the bootleg Jews, they call us goyim, meaning cattle. What they're saying is, and this is scriptural, it goes both ways. To the one that they worshiped, he said, you guys are nothing but cattle to us because you're for the sacrifice. You allow us to be able to continue to thrive by offering your blood up to our gods. Where did they get that from? Read it one more time, Mark.
The wicked shall be a ransom for the righteous.
How many heathens got to die for your sins? He said, I require blood. You better be happy that it's an abundance of the heathen that I can slaughter in order to make things right for all of your transgressions. You ought to say amen to that.
That's right. Amen, homie. Amen, homie.
Nothing but cattle. He said they were supposed to be your property, and yet he said, I see princes walking around like servants. You done forgot who you are. You sitting up there serving and paying obeisance to the sacrifice. He said all of them got to be slaughtered just so that your sins can be atoned for. How many of y'all gonna get there on that day and be like, that's not right? I just can't do it. I can't see it. Just take me. I can't have any innocent lives suffering for me. Go ahead and read that one more time and we'll finish that one.
The wicked shall be a ransom for the righteous.
A ransom meaning what? They're going to be a sacrifice for the righteous. Blood got to be shed. Read.
And the transgressor for the upright.
The transgressor for the upright, meaning what? In order for the upright to be atoned and cleared and accepted, the transgressors got to be put down. Now it makes sense. Go from there, get Psalms, chapter 91. And let's start at verse 1.
Psalms 91, verse 1. He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. And I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my power, in Him will I trust.
Man, we be so afraid that we ain't going to have nowhere to hide. The Most High said, I'm your secret place. You ought to be hiding in me. If you and me, it's like you put on an invisible suit. He said, I'm your covering. I'm your shield. What you tripping off of? He said, I already told you. Unless I let him touch you. You didn't read about that in the book of Job? It says Satan got to get permission before he even touch you. A lot of y'all don't believe that. Then again, a lot of us deserve to be touched. Wonder why we always getting hit with this, hit with that. Straight up. Read on.
Surely He shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler, and from the noisome pestilence.
From the what?
Noisome pestilence.
Boy, this is definitely a noisome pestilence we dealing with right now. It done made a whole lot of noise. They got songs all for this pestilence. I think brothers up in here gonna make a song, right? And don't y'all got a song coming out? Man, this pestilence done made a whole bunch of noise. Go ahead and read.
He shall cover thee with his feathers, and under his wings shalt thou trust. His truth shall be thy shield and buckler.
His what?
His truth shall be thy shield and buckler.
Y'all be talking about, I'm in the truth, I'm in the truth. Are you really? Because that truth is a shield and buckler. He said you got on armor just because you keep these commandments. If you really keeping them, though. Some of our people be foolish. They be inviting danger, and I'm like, you got to get your stuff together because you ain't 100. So in it all, I understand the balance on that. Sometimes we fear. Because when you get into this truth, you realize, like, dang, like I'm supposed to be doing this, I'm supposed to be doing that. And that makes you say, you know what? As much as somebody else might be like, oh, so-and-so, oh, they are just the greatest. They are just so righteous. She's so virtuous. And you in your mind like, man, all praise be to the Most High, but I know there's some things I need to work on. I hope if the Most High strike me dead right now, I done did everything that's enough in order to make it in. How many of y'all ever think like that? I be thinking like that, man, that if I went right now, would I be good? Go ahead.
Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor for the arrow that flieth by day.
Man, we can't have the spirit of fear at the same time, man. We can be wise, but we definitely can't have the spirit of fear. Go ahead.
Nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor for the destruction that wasteth at noonday.
Go ahead.
1,000 shall fall at thy side.
What?
1,000 shall fall at thy side.
What?
1,000 shall fall at thy side.
He said 1,000 shall fall at thy side. A lot of us, we didn't believe that. We said we believed it, but we couldn't see it. Then the coronavirus, it hit and it's been taken out many thousands. Knew it became even more real. Some of y'all probably didn't see it, but a pretty big congregation announced how they had, members that had loved ones that passed away from coronavirus. It's real. He said, but with all of that, he said, you shouldn't be afraid. If you focused on keeping these commandments, you focused on moving right, focused on building this nation, focused on preparing these kids. You got to be focused. It's time to focus, man. Read on.
And 10,000 at thy right hand.
But
it shall not come nigh thee.
But it ain't going to come near you. It's not going to come near us. I'm telling you. And if it do and you wondering, you better not lose your faith in the Most High. Because he might be saying, I just wanted to test your faith. I just want you, I'm going to use you as a testimony. You really, it's crazy in that bootleg church we believe. You got to believe. That bootleg church, boy, I done seen people look so foolish in the bootleg church, man. Give it all up. Give all of their dignity. All their dignity gone. All their mortgage money. Extreme. Man, we got to be extreme for this truth. We really know. We really seeing this stuff manifest. We really can make sense of it. And who has been able to naysay what we brought to the table according to this word?
Nobody.
I haven't seen one. I've seen so many cats that got shook in the faith and end up falling off. But if you just sit there and you let somebody shoot their shot, and after they throw the kitchen sink and you seem like you think you wobbly, all you got to do is stand. And then once they done threw everything that they done thrown, all you got to do is ask them a simple question, and everything that you thought that was strong just starts to crumble. Ain't nobody had an answer for this yet. This is what you got. Go ahead.
Only with thy eyes shalt thou behold and see the reward of the wicked. Because thou hast made the Lord, which is my refuge, even the Most High thy habitation. There shall no evil befall thee, neither shall any plague come nigh thy dwelling.
That's when you make the Most High your habitation. When it ain't nowhere to hide, it's only one place that you really truly can hide. It's not a physical thing, it's a spiritual thing. It ain't a physical place that you can go. There's a spiritual place where you need to arrive. We got to pray. We got to come together. We got to fast. We got to read. We got to get on one accord. We got to love. We got to check our spirits. We got to make tough decisions. Because some of us, we don't understand. We look at some of this as a bad thing, and some of this got to happen because he said, you better get it right. I need y'all to bump heads and figure that out because now I need this to operate correct. I gave y'all mercy. He said, you're going to have to start functioning the way you're supposed to be functioning now because the time is near. Go ahead.
For he shall give his angels charge over thee to keep thee in all thy ways.
And that's exactly what he's doing. He's giving his angels charge. His celestial angels, the celestial beings, as well as the angels of the earthly realm, which is talking about the messengers. You got the message of the Most High that's just running rampant throughout everything that we do. It's in the music now. You can hear a booty shaking song and still hear that you're an Israelite in it at this point. He said, there's no way. He said, you can't escape. You should know at this point. Ain't gonna be no excuses. Go from there. Give me Deuteronomy chapter 7. Deuteronomy chapter 7, and let's get 12 through 15.
Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 12. Wherefore it shall come to pass, if ye hearken to these judgments, and keep and do them, that the Lord thy power shall keep unto thee thy covenant, and thy mercy which he sware unto thy fathers.
So what we got to do for him to protect us? Huh? What? It ain't rocket science. We got to keep these commandments. He said, you hold up your end of the bargain and I will hold up mine. That's it. Go ahead.
And he will love thee and bless thee and multiply thee. He will also bless the fruit of thy womb.
He said, I'm going to bless your kids. I'm going to bless your fertility. He said, I'm going to give you all of that. We be saying some of the most foolish things sometimes in Israel. I don't know if I want to have any kids. It's world crazy. That's what we do is multiply. He said, I need some more Avengers. He said, how in the world you going to cut my Avengers off? Nah. I need that. I need some more arrows in that quiver. I need some more that's going to hate the enemy enough to go and destroy. I need some headhunters. Oh, I need some pillars of rest to hold it down. Sometimes we be looking at ourselves and we be so selfish because we ain't thinking about the future to come, the near future. It ain't about us right now, man. You feel so inconvenienced because you like, man, I should be able to live my life and have fun. I want this, I want that. Most High said you should want this kingdom I'm about to give you. You should be putting in work, laboring to get that if you really believe. Man, we right on the cusp. Man, hold on. I'm going to get back to the scriptures. Look here. I'm sitting up here and I'm looking at this Jake. And I'm looking at a real life Israelite. Israelite. What that mean to you? Do that just mean I rock my beard, I wear my fringes? What's up, Op? What do it mean to you? To understand that we are the most loved yet the most hated people on the face of the earth at the same time. That we are dealt with and made to believe that we are the most insignificant, yet we are definitely beyond a shadow of the doubt the most important people on the earth at this very moment in time. What does that mean to you? To realize that your forefathers, this time in the year, some thousands of years ago, was delivered out of captivity. And it is a story that is still told unto this very day. And it is something that you can go and read in the book throughout all of the captivities you've been in. Your history is right here. For all of the times where they tried to burn your history is right here. What do that really mean to you? We take this for granted. How many lives, how many Israelites lost their lives trying to preserve this? And we be over it. Man, we got to wake up. It's time to wake up. Was that all of that?
No.
Go ahead.
And the fruit of thy corn, and thy wine, and thy oil, the increase of thy kind, and the flocks of thy sheep, in the land which he sware unto thy fathers to give thee. Verse 14.
Yep, all the way to 15.
Thou shalt be blessed above all people. There shall not be male or female barren among you, or among your cattle.
He said, man, when you keeping these commandments, it ain't gonna even be none of y'all that's having no issues, having no children. The fact that we struggle in Israel with that should let you know, man, I gotta get my spirit right. He said, your dogs, your cats won't even have problems. Your cattle, your sheep, he said, you will have no problems. You will be increased if you just keep these commandments, if you just get it right. Go ahead and read.
And the Lord will take away from thee all sickness.
He gonna take away what?
All sickness.
What?
All sickness.
All sickness. But I mean, you know, everything except for the common cold. Everybody gets the common cold. You know what's so crazy, Yak? Before this coronavirus stuff, there was a circuit of sickness going around amongst his body. A circuit of sickness that was hitting the whole body, that was hitting these kids for like daggone near like 5-6 months, and it just wouldn't leave. It was up. A couple of weeks later, you sick again. How many? Raise your hand if you can confirm what I'm talking about. Now, who been sick since this coronavirus?
Nobody.
Who been sick? Heathens ain't messing with you, and now you ain't sick no more. You be hard pressed to find somebody that got a cold right now. Flu is like it don't exist right now. We went to the hospital and stuff. I'm like, it gotta be more people that need medical attention than this right here. It was just nobody in that mug, no wait. I'm like, we supposed to be in the midst of a crisis, and the hospital is practically empty.
All praises, huh?
I'm like, it goes to show you, man, like, when we separate from the heathen, man, like, they damage us in so many different ways. We've gotten a chance now. A lot of us, how many of y'all ain't been working? You would normally be working, but you haven't been working. Even though you're probably a little broke or you're near it, I bet you got more peace of mind. You probably ain't irritating spending quality time. We can't just go back after this COVID crap, man. We can't. The Most High showed you. He said, look, you don't need everything that you think you need, and you stressing over this, and you feel like we got to start getting our stuff together for ourselves. It's that time. We got to start getting our own stuff together.
Can I say one thing, too?
Go ahead,
Y'all know that just made your stock go up, too, right? Them the children of Israel, the coronavirus ain't touching them. They can work for me. Guess who they're going to be calling? Oh, you didn't get sick during the crisis? Oh, I'm calling on you. So you ain't got to worry about getting no job. The Most High going to bless us, right? Because the heathen going to see you as a paycheck.
We sitting up here making TikTok videos and stuff. Israel wild, man. Go ahead. Was that all of that? 15?
Oh, 15. And the Lord will take away from thee all sickness, and will put none of these evil diseases of Egypt.
Of what?
Of evil
These are
diseases.
evil diseases of Egypt. The Most High said, this ain't of Jerusalem. This ain't of me. This of America. He said, I'll take all of that away from y'all. Don't you want to experience that? Mm-hmm. They got you believing that you bound. Everybody gets sick. No, everybody don't get sick. Nah, you just live in the belly of the beast. And then on top of that, man, the cartoons show us all the time, and I'm pretty sure Ty probably somewhere listening. All them cartoons where they got that inner energy, the more their spirit is built up, the more like they can withstand things and things can't penetrate. Like when your spirit is built up, you on a whole nother level. Whole nother level. Seriously. We got to build this spirit. Take this time right now, man. Build your spirit up.
Let me say something. Also, too, who's seen the movie The Last Airbender? It was a little boy. That's a real good spiritual movie because that's how we are today. They don't want us to get in the element of concentration of knowing how to use our spirit. He had to learn how to use air, water, fire, the elements that was and earth. And he had the power to use all of them, but they try to kill him and keep him away from getting the people that had this practice of that knowledge. That's what they do to us, to keep us away from the practice of the knowledge of the Most High. Oh, they can't pray and call on the angels. Oh, they can't pray and shut down this spirit. They can't pray and shut down that person. But when we concentrate in keeping the law, we in one accord with the Most High, and he'll shut down everything for us.
Real talk.
Yep, he'll shut down everything for us. And that's one of the things the children of Israel did before they were delivered out of Egypt. They got tired of the hurt, the pain. Then that's when they start crying out to the Most High. What you think gonna happen when we really start crying out to the Most High? Because like he said, we get comfortable in our mess. We get comfortable in dysfunction here. So now it's time to get out of the dysfunction and get uncomfortable and praise the Lord like crazy. You feel me? Because he the one's delivering us. This is where our deliverance gonna come from. When we get tired of hell. Because y'all got children, right? The ones that do got children. Oh, you'll put them in that corner. Oh, stay over there. Good. Stay over there a little longer. But then once the child starts crying, Mommy, I'm hungry, I'm sick. My tummy hurt. You go get them, right? So what we got to do? Cry out to the Most High. I'm tired of this captivity. I'm tired of being in hell. I'm sick. It's killing me. Let's go.
And that's really what the scriptures say. It's crazy. He said every time they started to cry out, that's when he said, all right, man, I know they don't deserve it. Let me go get my bad A kids.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Was that all of that?
No. Which thou knowest upon thee, but I will lay them upon all them that hate thee.
He sure been laying that coronavirus on all of those that hate us. They've been catching it. This word, man, I love this word, man. It's poetry. It's real. It's living. Mm-hmm. Give me Judges chapter 2 and verse 11.
Judges chapter 2, verse 11. And the children of Israel did evil in the sight of the Lord and served Baalim. And they forsook the Lord, their power, of their fathers, which brought them out of the land of Egypt, and followed other gods.
You know what? And it's crazy because the scripture after scripture to solidify what I'm about to say. One of the things that Egypt was known for was to have all of these gods. And he said the children of Israel just got so caught up into worshiping all of these different gods. And it's no different here in this Egypt. We get caught up in every god doctrine, so on and so forth. And it's not limited to quote unquote what we would call religion. You know what I'm saying? It has everything to do with hip hop. It got everything to do with, entertainment. We get caught up. You know what I'm saying? We begin to idolize. We begin to worship all these different things. We worship in the nonsense that we see, and we pledge and dedicate ourselves most of the hours of our day on that phone looking at the nonsense that's on social media. We're not balanced. He said that's what this place is. And I have to pull you up out of there in order to get, because if I would have left you in Egypt, you still be doing that same crap. That's why it's so hard for us here. Because you still, he said, now this one is going to be a little bit different. He said, I'm going to take you out of Egypt spiritually. But he said, you still going to have to be here physically. But I need you to come out of her. He said, you're going to be in the wilderness of the people. But this is how you disconnect. Go ahead and read.
Of the gods of the people that were round about them, and bowed themselves unto them, and provoked the Lord to anger. And they forsook the Lord, and served Baalim, Ashtaroth. And the anger of the Lord was hot against Israel, and he delivered them into the hand of the spoilers that spoiled them. And he sold them into the hands of their enemies round about, so that they could not any longer stand before their enemies.
So look, what are we reading here? What are we reading here? This is the vicious cycle of what Israel has gone through throughout the ages. We get in a good place. The Most High set us up. We be good. All of a sudden, we want to do everything that we ain't supposed to be doing. We get off into this. We get off into that. Can't tell us this. Then we go into wickedness. Then we go into captivity. Then we need to be delivered. We got to be humbled. And it's crazy because as we went on through time, it got harder and harder to humble us. I look at Jakes to this day, even Jakes in the truth, man, and it's hard to humble us. I'm like, man, for everything that we going through right now, you telling me we can't get certain things right? For everything that was happening in this time, man, we ought to be on point with everything. We ought to be on point. We ought to be getting stuff right. Go ahead.
Whithersoever they went out, the hand of the Lord was against them for evil, as the Lord had said, and as the Lord had sworn unto them. And they were greatly distressed. Nevertheless, the Lord raised up judges, which delivered them out of the hand of those that spoiled them.
So the Most High said, all right, I'm going to have compassion. I'm going to raise up judges to deliver you. It's all about deliverance. I'm going to raise up judges, saviors to deliver you from the hands of your spoilers. Go ahead.
And yet they would not hearken unto the judges.
And they still wouldn't listen to the judges that was sent to save them. Has anything changed today? Nope. You got Jakes that's laboring in this word to bring forth understanding and a warning. And for all of that, many of our people, and I'm not even just talking about those outside, but I'm talking about those even within the quote-unquote truth, halfway listening to what's being said. Halfway applying what's being told that they need to do according to this word. Said for all of that, they didn't even want to listen to the judges. You want to get into the psyche of an Israelite and why we be in the nonsense that we be in and why it's so hard to escape the BS? Read the book of Judges. Read the book of Judges. You'll be like, yeah, we definitely Israel. This is us. Go ahead.
But they went a-whoring after other gods and bowed themselves unto them. They turned quickly out of the way which their fathers walked in, obeying the commandments of the Most High. But they did not so.
Go ahead.
And when the Lord raised them up judges, then the Lord was with the judges and delivered them out of the hand of their enemies all the days of their judges. For it repented the Lord because of their groanings by reason of them that oppressed them and vexed them.
That's what Isaiah was just talking about, right? Most High said, man, as much as they get on my nerve, you ever had that kid? Like I got my kids, man, and I know, boy, sometimes my kids, one in particular, boy, he need to get reprimanded, boy. But yet, they get to hollering and crying. You know, they'll do something foolish, something that they had no business, that they've been told over and over not to do, mess around and hurt themselves. And then in that moment, you got to figure out whether or not you're going to have compassion and what's going to be. Mess around and then fell off and then messed something up, and broke something. You know, and this little bit, especially boys, man, there's something about them. My son went face first into a corner, and it just missed his eye, and the hole was so big I could stick my pinky finger in there. Just in the spur of the moment, I'm running, doing something that I'm not supposed to be doing. You know, and for all of that, the Most High said, man, you still my children. I can't help to hear you cry too long. I see you vexed. I see you going through it. You deserved this butt whooping, but I'm all right. All right, that's enough. I'm gonna pull you back to me. You know what I'm saying? So just like the Jake said, man, we definitely gotta cry out. Can't be too cool to cry out. If it's any time to cry, now is that time. Straight up. Go ahead, verse 19.
And it came to pass, when the judges was dead, that they returned and corrupted themselves more than their fathers in following other gods to serve them and to bow down unto them. They ceased not from their own doings, nor from their stubborn ways.
So every time it got worse. When that leader, and that's the thing, man, your leaders mean so much. If your leader is righteous, then the people are going to operate in righteousness because things are going to get checked. If your leader is not righteous, you're going to see the backlash. You're going to see the trickle-down effect. You know, and that was the problem when the righteous men within Israel, you know, fell, when they passed on. That's when Israel went into worse transgression. Go from there. Get kind of speed things up a little bit. Go to 2 Ezra chapter 16. 2 Ezra chapter 16, verse 17.
Second Ezra chapter 16, verse 17. Mm-hmm. Woe is me, who delivered me in those days.
Who will deliver me in those days? Read on.
The beginning of sorrows and great mourning, and the beginning of famine and great death, and the beginning.
And hold on. This is what's happening right now. He said this is the beginning of famine. The beginning of great death. You seeing, like I said, they estimated like 30,000+ so far. And that was days ago that I heard that. How many, anybody got a current death toll? 60,000 globally? I think it's more than that. I think they were saying it was like globally. Yeah, globally it's past 1 million. Now, in the United States, it was like 30,000 the last time I checked. What? That's died already? That's what I'm saying. That's died, yeah. Like death. 64,000 globally that have died? Oh, I stand corrected. Okay. Appreciate that, sis. So, 1 million cases. Okay. Man, so how many in the United States so far that's died? Death toll. 8,400 so far? And they said something about they estimate 100,000 deaths. So I don't know if we're going to get there. We're going to see. We're going to see. It's a whole bunch of ransom for our sins. Go ahead.
The beginning of wars, and the power shall stand in fear. The beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come?
So what we going to do when these evils come, y'all? What shall you do? Huh? Okay. Tell me, what you going to do? Cry aloud, okay. What else? What y'all going to do? Who? Talk to your father. Okay, what you going to do? I'm saying, okay, I hear that. What you going to do, Yaquar? Oh, okay. What you going to do, Bakwash? Fast and pray, okay. What you going to do, Masaba? Fast and pray, okay. What you going to do, Tamira? Fast and pray, okay. That's the safe thing. How many of y'all blood pressure going to go up? How many of y'all going to be worried? A little bit? Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that honesty. Yeah. He said, what we going to do? Go ahead. Uh-uh. Stop lying.
Was this Israel?
She was a Jake?
Check.
Huh?
I'm sorry, thank you. She knew an Israelite in our circles, or the Israelite posted it. And the girl is corona and the boy is COVID. Some people are mad, but she said she looked at it as this is how she know how to persevere and endure through things. And I posted, like Rachel and Leah did the same thing. They named their children according to the surroundings around them to show their strength, not to show that they give in to the weakness that the surrounding give them. I thought it was amazing.
This is what, who was that
just-
to show me that? That was you, Rock? The coldest. His birth given name is the coldest one. Juan, like Juan, his name is the coldest Juan, like the coldest one.
But corona means crown in Spanish. So I'll take that name.
Don't get no ideas, Izar.
You said what?
Don't get no ideas.
We're going to call you King Corona from now on.
King Corona. Hey. No, that's your Howard Shaw. He got the crown. Right?
She might change it later. You was Corona for like 4 weeks. Then I changed it your name. You ready? Is that all of that?
You want more?
I wanted it all the way to 20.
Oh, we can go.
Go ahead.
The beginning of wars, and the power shall stand in fear. The beginning of evils. What shall come? What shall I do when these evils shall come? Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent, and scourges for amendment. But for all these things, they shall not turn from their wickedness.
For all these things, the children of Israel, many of us will not turn from our wickedness. That's the crazy thing. Like, it's like, what does it have to take to make Israel repent? How many of y'all got family members and you would have thought maybe it would have made them, maybe consider, but they still doing business as usual? Man, go ahead.
Nor be always mindful of scourges.
Go ahead.
Behold.
Was that all of that?
You want 21?
Nah, that's all I needed. Get Isaiah chapter 26. Isaiah chapter 26 and verse 20 and 21.
Isaiah chapter 26, verse 20. Come, my people, Enter thou into the chambers, and shut thy doors about thee.
So that's what Jake's been doing. Like, even with this right here, not trying to be out. Sometimes it get like that. Sometimes you got to enter your chamber. We got to do what we got to do. We got to be those sheep. We got to have that convocation in order to keep these ordinances, man. We still want to come together. The Most High's 7-day Sabbath is a feast day. Go ahead.
Hide thyself, as it were, for a little moment,
Just for a little moment, read on.
until the indignation be overpassed.
Until this indignation be overpassed. So it's cool. Sometimes it be like that. You got to understand that much. Go ahead.
For behold, the Lord the Lord cometh out of his place to punish the inhabitants of the earth.
To do what?
To punish the inhabitants of the earth.
You better believe it. It don't matter if Esau put it out, if it was Wuhan 400. Most High said, this is my opportunity to punish. Punisher. Sometimes he say, all right, y'all move to the side for a minute. Go ahead and tuck off in there. This your moment. This a breather. I'm going to get the enemy off your back a little bit. Go ahead.
For behold, the Lord cometh out of his place to punish the inhabitants of the wicked. To punish the inhabitants of the earth for their iniquities. The earth also shall disclose her blood, and shall no more cover her slain.
No more cover her slain, because there's so many, they can't even bury him. It's going to get to that point. Go to Hebrews chapter 10 and verse 23. Hebrews chapter 10 and verse 23.
Hebrews chapter 10, verse 23. Let us hold fast the profession of our faith without wavering, for he is faithful that promised.
We got to hold fast the profession of our faith without wavering. It don't matter what the pestilence, what's going on. This is what we do. Period. Don't forget that. And don't let anybody shake you up out of this. Go ahead.
And let us consider one another to provoke unto love and to good works.
And that's what we ought to be on right now. Love and good works. What better time to love than right now? What better time to put in good works than right now? Read on.
Not forsaking the assembling of ourselves together.
Doing what?
Not forsaking the assembling of ourselves together.
Not forsaking the assembling of ourselves together. They're going to literally have to lock us in here, lock us in our homes, lock and key. Like, as much as we can, we are to come together. We ain't got to be a million, but we got enough. Scriptures say where 2 or 3 are gathered together in my name, there I shall be in the midst. Straight up. We still got to come together. I don't care how bad it gets into the point where we on a run. Because that's where our strength lies. Through this is how you get opportunities like this to have your spirit uplifted. How you receive instruction and intel, right? We keep each other on point. Iron sharpeneth iron. There's a need for this. The Most High knows accountability. This is what has to happen. So you're doing the right thing, contrary to what some, I know a lot of y'all up in here might not be getting pressed, but some may be getting pressed. I know in other places people are shook. People shut everything down. This is the right thing to do. All praise be to the Most High. I don't see no gloves and no mask. And like I said, we ain't even had no illness. We haven't had any illness. Most High said, I'm getting the opportunity to deal with y'all without some of the extras, without you having to go to work and have all of your energy and the goodness in you sucked up, only to come and give me the leftovers. Straight up, read on.
Not forsaking the assembling of ourselves together, as the manner of some is, but exhorting one another, and so much the more as ye see the day approaching.
Go ahead.
For if we sin willfully after that we have received the knowledge of the truth, there remaineth no more sacrifice for sin.
And that's one of the reasons why we got to be careful. He said, you cannot sin willfully after knowing what you know. All praise be to the Most High, man, for the men of the Most High up in here, us trying to do everything that we can to keep the Passover. And it was through some struggling and some, some disagreements and things of that nature. But all praise be to the Most High. We feel good because we're getting ready to do things according to these scriptures.
That's right.
We men, we can get over feelings. We can get over all of that. All praise be to the Most High. We just want to do it right in sincerity. Go ahead. That was all I needed from that. Watch this. Give me Exodus chapter 14 and verse 10.
Exodus chapter 14, verse 10. And when Pharaoh drew nigh, the children of Israel lifted up their eyes, and behold, the Egyptians marched after them, and they were sore afraid. And the children of Israel cried out unto the Lord. And they said unto Moses, because there were no graves in Egypt, hast thou taken us away to die in the wilderness?
You hear that? Sound like some Jakes. What you get us into, Moses? And they was afraid. They was coming after him. But watch this. Read on.
Wherefore hast thou dealt thus with us, to carry us forth out of Egypt? Is not this the word that we did tell thee in Egypt, saying, let us alone, that we may serve the Egyptians?
You see that? Jake doing a good thing, delivering you up out of captivity, and you sitting up there complaining when things seem like it might not go as smoothly as you would like it to go. See, that's why I didn't want to leave in the first place. The Most High, like, shut up. Go ahead.
For it had been better for us to serve the Egyptians than that we should die in the wilderness.
Boy, and some Jakes still got that mentality to this very day. Go ahead.
And Moses said unto the people, fear ye not, stand still and see the salvation of the Lord.
Sometimes you just got to stand still. You don't need to move. You don't need to make a move. You don't need to say nothing. You don't need to even pick up your phone. You just need to stand still. Relax. Chill. And it does something for the people that surround you. When they see you finally relax, they relax. When they see that you not relaxed and that you frantic, then guess what? They reciprocate that same energy. If I'm up here and I'm supposed to be the leader and all of a sudden I'm like, hey. All of a sudden, and you knew that I was getting ready to do this example like once I started motioning, but how many of y'all had that moment of jump in your spirit, kind of like, oh, hold on. Had that I seen y'all kind of react. Right? The thing is, but then, if I'm the total opposite and I'm calm and I'm collective, you got confidence. Somebody come at the door and I'm overreacting and I'm like, you're going to be like, oh. If I'm like, y'all going to feel confident. Sometimes you just got to stand still. Read on. And hold on. We standing still in this coronavirus situation. We got to stand still. Most High said, I'm going to show you who the real servants of the Most High are. Go ahead and read.
Fear ye not, stand still, and see the salvation of the Lord, which he will show to you today. For the Egyptians whom ye have seen today, ye shall see them again no more forever.
He said, these Egyptians, they about to be gone. I'm about to take care of them. Believe that. Believe that. Go ahead.
The Lord shall fight for you, and ye shall hold your peace.
He said the Lord is going to fight for you. Sometimes you've been so used to fighting in your life. How many of y'all, keep it 100, Somebody can say something simple and you feel like you got to defend yourself. You've been fighting all your life. You don't know nothing but to fight. Somebody try to do something too nice for you, you fight them. You ain't got to do all of that. I can do it myself. Right? Most High said, look, I'm going to fight for you. All you got to do is hold your peace. Go ahead.
And the Lord said unto Moses, wherefore criest thou unto me? Speak unto the children of Israel, that they go forward. But lift thou up thy rod, and stretch out thy hand over the sea, and divide it. And the children of Israel shall go on dry ground through the midst of the sea. And I...
Hold on. Because y'all got to really understand, y'all done heard this. You probably, the first time you heard this story, you was probably a kid. Raise your hand if you was a kid when you first heard this story. All right, so you probably desensitized. You're like, yeah, okay, I heard that before. He parted the Red Sea. Okay, heard that one. How many of y'all have really been in situations where you felt like you was about to lose your life and you couldn't see no way out? When I call upon that memory now, you can relate. I've been in situations like that. I'm like, this might be it.
So we had one of them the other night.
Yeah, this Jake, yep. Just the other night. Jake get out in the midst and they pressing him. They talking about, shoot her. Just shoot that out. In perfect time, and him and your quasses, I pull up. It gets real. With all of that being said, when you in those moments, your adrenaline pumping, heart racing, and you like, how in the world am I going to get, I'm at the mercy of somebody. And you always at the mercy of the Most High. Children of Israel, they was like, all they saw was the Red Sea. Nowhere to go, nowhere to run. A sea full of Egyptians on horses behind them, traveling much faster than they were able to travel. And they was like, this is it. This is it. What you got us into, Moses? We was good when we was back there. Niggas wasn't on us like that. Now you about to get us killed. And the Most High said, shut up. Hold on. Tell them to be still. What you mean be still? Hold on. Be still. I got this. Take your staff. You gonna put the staff in the water. And when you put the staff in the water gonna rise up. And the ground gonna be dry and you gonna walk across. And you act like the Most High can't provide a way for you to keep this Passover. You act like the Most High can't provide a way for you to get you some water in your house. For you to have some food in your house. I had to throw away everything. Everything had leaven in it. I'm worried. Grocery stores might close up. I might not get to them. I won't get to them. That's why the scriptures say, because a lot of Jakes didn't understand when it said, man, alms saveth. Like, you didn't understand what that meant. He said, put up the alms in the storehouse. When you got storehouses, when you got your stuff together, it ain't no problem. I got food. That's what he was talking about. You haven't operated as a nation thus far, so when things are said to you like that, you're oblivious. Like, what do you mean? Alms, what? Now you know, because you got them beans and rice in the buckets, don't you? It became real. Straight up. Most High said, man, I got this. How you doubt me? He said, this ain't the hard part right here. This the easy part. He said, remember, he said, And the first scripture I went to, and it was I was going to hit it again with another scripture that said the same thing. He said, no longer are they going to say the children of Israel that came out of Egypt. He said, y'all story is going to triumph that. He said, I'm going to be opening up waters all over the earth for y'all to come back across. He said, you think you've seen something? Imagine everybody was coming out of one place. Imagine everybody coming from everywhere in the earth back to Jerusalem. He said, you ain't seen nothing yet. You sitting up here trying to figure out how we going to do this, how we going to do that. He said, just be still, homie. Be still. I got this. That's the God we serve. I'm not going to bombard y'all with a whole bunch of other scriptures because I had some other ones, a few other ones. I'm going to leave you with this. I'm going to get one more scripture. You better remember the God that you serve. That ain't on no Christianity jargon. That's on the real tip. Remember the God you serve, Yahweh, the God of our forefathers. Go read the book so you'll know all of the great things that he's done for our people. You know of all of the victories. We up against armies. He like, hey, don't trip, just blow the horn. Man, and the pot exploded. Oh, like, you know the God you serve? They write movies about the God that you serve and about your forefathers having that God on their side. Them the movies that you watch that hype you up. Ooh. Remember the God we serve, y'all. Jeremiah chapter 16. Jeremiah chapter 16, I want 14 through 16.
Jeremiah chapter 16, verse 14. Therefore, behold, the day come, saith the Lord, that it shall no more be said, the Lord liveth that brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. But the Lord liveth that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north and from the land whither he had driven them. And I will bring them again into their land that I gave unto their fathers.
We going back home, y'all. We going back home. But last scripture right here, verse 16, read that.
Behold, I will send for many fishers.
Man, we out there on them corners fishing right now. What's the experience like fishing? You ever fished? Patience. Can you be bumping loud music when you fishing? Huh? You on the still of the water, right? Peaceful. You don't want to scare the fish off. You trying to get, do you get bait? Do you put something on your hook that they don't like? Because sometimes the stuff is simple when we talk about these things. You want to know how to street teach the right way. That's what you got to think of. What kind of bait are you putting on your hook? Scripture say we fishing right now. Told you that Peter and them was fishers. Yahweh Shai said, I'm going to make y'all fishers of men. Anybody that fishes, Kazak, I know you done fished a few times, right? Ash, you fish, right? You don't? No. Could have swore you fished. Who fish up in here? Okay. So now, on your hook, on your line, what are you trying to put on your line? Are you trying to put something on your line that's not appealing, that's not what they like to eat, something that's going to be scary? Go ahead, Ott.
give them whatever it is that they like based on what you're fishing for. So it depends on the season, and then whatever bait that you put in there, there's even other things that you add to the bait. Like if it's a fish that likes to be down real deep, you don't just throw stuff in the water and let it float. The fish will never get it. You got to put lead on it so it'll sink to the bottom. And then if it's not a very visible kind of bait, you might throw, like there was this, we just called it special sauce. It was some kind of name of a chemical, but it was designed for fish where it causes a shine to be at the bottom of the lake where they can actually see the bait and get to it. So it was different things you had to do.
I like that part where you said some of the fish you have to put some weight on that. Sometimes when you are out there on them streets, you got to put some weight on your message. Sometimes you got to ease up. You can't be too deep. How y'all fishing out there, Akim? Kind of bait you putting out there? Right? Ticking off the fish? Or you getting some bites? Are you getting sharks? Some of them jakes putting other jakes on their line. Shark bait. We fishing right now. But watch this, read.
Behold, I will send for many fishers, saith the Lord, and they shall fish them.
They're going to fish the children of Israel. But watch this, read.
And after will I send for many hunters, and they shall hunt them from every mountain.
Cold-blooded. Boy, enjoy the time when we fishing right now. Because real soon we're going to be hunting. Some of the same jakes that done smiled with you. If you on the wrong side of things, jakes, it's going to be like you, it's going to be like the county. It's going to be like prison times a million. Jake's going to be too turned up. Howard Shaw said, take his head off. Okay. Go ahead, Ike.
Remember that dream I told you I had about you? I was like, to Zion, you was out there getting it.
I remember you saying
yeah.
that.
So I got that vision already.
And all praise be to the Most High.
I got that vision already.
I was on the right side, right?
Yeah.
All praise be to Woo! I pray that vision come true. Go ahead, Ike.
And I will send for many hunters, and they shall hunt them from every mountain and from every hill, and out of all the holes of the rocks.
Say that hunt. He went more elaborate into what that hunting is going to look like. So just know that, man, our deliverance is near. All praise Most High. Yeah. Any questions? Any announcements? Anything from the back? Nah.